Hi everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are in here and we are making dessert. We are making cupcakes or cake, and we are making ice cream, all from scratch and all without eggs. The cake we're going to be making today is actually in cupcake form. This is for one of my kiddos and they requested cupcakes instead. So we're gonna switch over to cupcakes, but we are making kind of a Great Depression style cake. Now this recipe that I'm using is one from my grandma that she made all the time growing up, and she called it her crazy cake. So whether you call it your Great Depression cake, your crazy cake, your eggless cake, whatever you want to call it, or your wacky cake, I think some people call it that too, it's just really delicious. The really beautiful thing about this cake recipe is that back when maybe eggs and milk and things weren't always available, they had these other ingredients they would use to make cakes. Now I'm using oil in my recipe. I don't believe they all call for that. And usually when I'm baking a cake, I'll put it all in my cake pan and stir it right in the pan. Since I'm making cupcakes, I'm going to use my mixer today. The first thing we're going to add is all our dry ingredients. Since I'm using a bowl, then I'm just gonna mix them by hand in here quick. So we're gonna add flour, 3 cups. I just had a big break, so I just dumped it in a bowl to make it work. The next ingredient is going to be 2 cups of sugar. Now I haven't tried this with honey yet, but I will have to do that one day and let you guys know how it goes. The next ingredient I'm going to add is 2 teaspoons of baking soda. This is gonna make it so big, I guess. Let's stir this up a little bit because I have some clumps of sugar I want to break up. Then I'm going to add my cocoa. I'm adding 3/4 cup. That sugar is really hard. I'm adding 3/4 cup of cocoa. And I almost forgot 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt because that's what I have. But any salt works great. All right, I ended up putting it in my mixer because of those clumps of sugar. So that really broke them up pretty good. So I did that. So don't worry about stirring it by hand. That worked great. Now, typically, sorry guys, I'm really close. There we go. So typically when I'm doing this in a cake pan, I will just make 3 little holes in my pan. It's gonna be quite a bit closer since I have just this small bowl. So I'm just using the bottom of this measuring cup. Make 3 little holes, and this is where I'm gonna put some of my ingredients I'm adding. All right, so in those holes, I'm going to add some vanilla. I'm using some vodka vanilla I made. Ooh, I have about just enough. So usually I would add a little extra, but about a teaspoon. I'll have to refill that. And 2 tablespoons of vinegar. This is just white vinegar. Keep that separate. And then I'm adding about 3/4 cup of oil. Now I've done this with different types of oil, but anything you would use for baking I think always does turn out best. So I'm using veggie oil today. All right, next I'm taking 2 cups of cold water and I'm just dumping it over the top of these 3 ingredients. You can see my oil kind of spilled out a little bit into my vanilla. Now, I'm not exactly sure why you do that, but my best guess is it has something to do with just the combination of the baking soda and those other ingredients. They kind of make it foam up when we start getting them all together. And I'm guessing you probably just wouldn't want that to happen before you add the other ones. Anyone know why? Now, I know I have plenty of eggs. I'm very blessed with our chickens that I could certainly be making a cake with eggs. So I make this more on nostalgia based, that we just really like it. It's just kind of a good fun memory. But if you're looking for a recipe without eggs, I just highly recommend it. So this is going to make about 2 dozen cupcakes. I have a feeling I'm gonna have a little bit left over when all is said and done, but we'll see. So I wanted to fill these half full, but they're a little bit more, so they might be really big. And I definitely can clean this out and get a little more out. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I do have one more muffin pan, but it's a mini muffin pan, and I don't have the papers for it, so I'll just have to grease it really well. But I think I'm gonna make some of those because they'll be the perfect size for the kids' lunches. Since I don't have a time for cupcakes, I'm going to kind of wing it. So I know that my cake takes about 40 minutes, like an 11 by 14 cake pan. So I'm going to go with like 20, I'm thinking, for these big cupcakes. And then these little ones, I think they're going to be done much sooner. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and then I'll check them. While that is cooking, I am going to clean up and get that ice cream started. So I'm going to also be using my KitchenAid mixer for my ice cream today. Now we're going to make a vanilla ice cream with honey because we're going to have this very chocolatey cake. We're going to go light with our ice cream and just do vanilla. My bowl for my ice cream maker, I actually keep it in my freezer, so it's just always ready to go. I'm going to be throwing my parts in the freezer as well. I'm also going to be putting my milk and whipping cream in my freezer because the colder the better with this stuff. I've shared this ice cream recipe with you before. Sorry, it is so sunny today. I am loving it, but it is making filming very difficult. Can you see me a little better there? All right, we'll reorganize a little. All right, so I love this little trick about making this ice cream recipe. Echo, what's the notification?
One new notification from Amazon. U.S. National Weather Service has issued a wind chill advisory.
Whew, I'm just getting alerted that it's only going to get colder out. It has been, whoops, so cold. So what I love about this is just how simple it is to mix, right? My measuring cup. I have a 4-cup measuring cup and it works perfectly. I'm going to use 2 cups of whole milk and 1 cup of whipping cream. Now, the only reason I have whipping cream is because my kids told me they wanted homemade ice cream. I was like, you know what? I can. All right, so we're going to put this in our freezer for a little bit. I'm actually going to run do some work real quick. So I'll be back probably about the time these cupcakes come out, and then I'll get this started. All right, so I checked the cupcakes at 10 minutes and they weren't quite done. So I set a timer for 2 more minutes. So these little ones have been in 12 minutes. Let's check them. Oh, I'm bumping the bottom ones. Not what I meant to do. At least we're washing that. Alright, so I would say like 12 to 14 minutes for those mini ones. And we are going to set a timer for 10 minutes. I think our big ones are going to take a little bit longer since I filled them so full. So I decided in the interest of time not to make homemade frosting. Typically I really like this crazy cake with just like a quick whipped cream or Cool Whip. But I just got some chocolate frosting. I'm going to put this up here so it warms up a little bit, just so it's easier to put on the cupcakes when they cool down. Our timer is up. Let's check these cupcakes. Trying to remember which pan cooks a little faster. I don't recall. The biggest one first. That is doughy. All right, that one's definitely going back in. These ones actually look a little more done. Okay, the smaller ones are done. Bigger ones are done. All right. So that last pan, I'm gonna set a timer for like 5 minutes. I think they'll be done by then. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Just based on what kind of the metal the pan is made out of, that one always cooks a little slower. I couldn't remember which one it was, but one always does. Alright, so this is how I store my ice cream maker in the freezer, right in a plastic bag, so I don't need to worry too much about cleaning it and such. Alright, I'm having a moment. Oh gosh, it's been a while, you guys. Now, I can leave a link down below to the ice cream maker I'm using for my KitchenAid. It is the KitchenAid brand, and I love it. My sister and her family gave it to me for Christmas a couple years ago. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, it doesn't hook. It's easier than I'm thinking it is. All right, I do have a little bit of ice in here, which I don't love because that's going to water down my ice cream. So, which is a little concerning if that's in my freezer. Did my freezer thaw a little? Something I'll have to keep an eye on. Or I just put it away wet after I was done washing it. I'll wipe out what I can. All right, I got it turned on, you guys. It's on. That ice is scraping. I actually like chiseled the hole out so that it would spin. All right, so don't put it away wet. I don't know quite how that happened. So what I'm going to add to my milk and cream mixture is just a pinch of salt and probably a teaspoon of vanilla. Not worried about having too much vanilla. And then I'm going to add that honey right to my milk and cream so I can stir it in and mix it up a little bit. Now usually when I'm using liquid honey, this is pretty simple to do. I have a feeling I'm going to have a little more difficulty today. Yeah, I don't think I'll use solidified honey ever again for this. I'm already dreading what it's going to be like. Alright, I could almost take it right back out and switch to sugar. It's still clumpy. So we just dump in really slow. Mine's not going to be sweet because the honey is just not even going in. Oh, you guys. Not good, not good. Rather clumps of honey than no honey. So we're just going to let that mix. Don't do like me, just use sugar or liquid honey. Let's see, so we're going to keep it on low, approximately 20 minutes. I'm just reading my recipe because then I don't have to memorize this. Alright, my timer was going off for my last batch of cupcakes. So let's check that. Alright, so my timer went off for 20 minutes. This is what my ice cream looks like. Does it smell good in here? Hey, you want to taste this ice cream for me and see if it tastes good?
Can I eat it?
You can have a bite. I don't know if it's going to be good though. I'm smelling it first. How is it? Alright, Eli approved, so it's so bright in here. So hopefully that means it's good. So this ends up being more of a soft serve ice cream. So I can't get my bowl off. Okay, well, we're gonna just leave it there and scoop it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a bowl in the freezer so it will stay frozen and be ready for dessert tonight.
Like all it?
No, you can have a bite when I'm done again.
I said like
You can
all
lick-
it to get off.
You can lick this scraper when I'm done. How about that?
What? There's enough.
Oh, I'll make sure there's some on it for you. Let me get it all out of this bowl first.
Then can you put some in here?
Nope, that stuff's gonna be for dessert tonight.
Oh.
Here, you can probably lick this. I don't know how much I can actually get off of
What are you
it.
talking about?
You wanna lick this?
Uh-huh.
Here, I'll join you. That's not bad. I definitely, there's like a little teeny bit of grip from the honey. Not too bad though. That honey is so sweet. This in the freezer.
Good.
Thanks for making cupcakes and ice cream with me without any eggs. Glad you got to see me again. Bye.